She was 60 years old. She had not slept more than 3 hours a night for 10 years. And then her neighbor pointed to a weed growing by the fence, and everything changed. 4 a.m, the world outside her window lay silent, but her mind would not rest. For 10 years, sleep had become a stranger, never more than 3 hours at a time, never deep enough to remember dreams. She was 60, but her nights felt endless, strung together by the soft blue glow of the clock and the ache of exhaustion that never seemed to lift. The quiet of her bedroom became a battleground. She tried counting backward from 100, praying, listening to the hum of the refrigerator. Each night, hope faded a little more. Doctors had tried to help. Zolpidem, then temazepam, then trazodone, 3 prescriptions, each promising relief, each falling short. The bottles lined up on her nightstand like silent witnesses to her struggle. Some nights she took them anyway, just for the comfort of routine. Other nights she left them untouched, fearing the grogginess and the memory lapses that followed. Her physician, kind but weary, had run every test. The verdict was that sometimes this just happens with age. But what happens to a life when sleep disappears? She found herself snapping at her daughter over small things. She forgot the names of neighbors she had known for years. She stopped driving at night, afraid her reflexes would betray her. Even simple pleasures, reading, tending the roses, baking bread, felt distant, as if she were watching her own life through thick glass. The world moved on around her, but she drifted, tired and unseen. She was not alone. Studies show that nearly 2/3 of women her age struggle with insomnia, yet most find little comfort in modern medicine. Still, she held on to the hope that something gentle, something real, might be waiting if only she could find it. She stood at the fence, lost in the fog of another sleepless day, when her neighbor paused beside her. 75 years old, hands marked by decades of soil and sun, the neighbor leaned in and plucked a cluster of bright green leaves. She said, "Smell this." A lemony scent rose, sharp and sweet, cutting through the haze. The neighbor's voice carried a quiet certainty. "That is Melissa officinalis. My grandmother called it the gladdening herb. She brewed it when the nights ran too long." For a moment, the world seemed to slow. Could the answer really be growing by her own fence? The neighbor spoke of gardens tended through war and peace, of old women who trusted the land to offer what was needed. "God puts the medicine next to the wound," she murmured, the words as soft as the leaves themselves. Faith, in her telling, was not loud, just a steady belief that creation sometimes hides its gifts in plain sight. She listened as the neighbor recounted stories. Paracelsus, the Renaissance healer, called lemon balm an elixir of life. Carmelite nuns distilled it into a tonic for sleepless kings and queens. Even Thomas Jefferson grew it at Monticello, praising its gentle calm. The herb's history stretched back centuries, crossing continents and generations, always tied to comfort and rest. The neighbor explained how the plant worked simply. It helps the brain find its quiet, easing nerves by supporting the GABA pathway, nature's own brake pedal for racing thoughts. No promises, no magic, just a cup of tea, 4 or 5 leaves, steeped before bed. 8 days, the neighbor said, and you might remember what real sleep feels like. She felt hope flicker, a small, stubborn light. Could something so ordinary truly hold the answer? If you want to witness what happened next, subscribe and follow her journey as the story unfolds. Why do so many women lose sleep as the years pass, even when their days grow quieter? The answer, it turns out, is written deep in the wiring of the aging brain. After 60, the system that once called for rest grows less responsive. Scientists have measured it. The sensitivity of GABA-A receptors, the brain's natural brake pedal, drops by about 20%. That means the signals telling nerves to slow down, to hush the chatter, start to fade, thoughts race, worries echo. Sleep slips away, not from weakness or lack of will, but from a simple shift inside. Prescription pills like Xanax and Valium were designed to press hard on that brake, flooding the system with force. They work, but not without cost, grogginess, memory lapses, and for some, a shadow of dependence that lingers even after the bottle is empty. She knew that weight all too well. Lemon balm, Melissa officinalis, works differently. Its secret lies in rosmarinic acid, a gentle compound that helps the brake pedal respond again. Instead of forcing the system, it helps the brain use the calming signals it already makes. Rosmarinic acid binds softly to the same GABA-A receptors, inviting them to open just a little wider and slows down the enzyme that breaks GABA apart. The effect is subtle, never overwhelming. For her, it was enough. Just a cup of tea each night, 4 or 5 leaves steeped before bed. On the 8th evening, she felt it, a quieting inside, a sense that the brakes finally held. 8 days, and the world softened. Was it really so simple? Sometimes the answer is waiting in the ordinary. Sometimes, as her neighbor said, God puts the medicine next to the wound. If this story speaks to you, subscribe and join us next week as the journey continues. For generations, lemon balm, Melissa officinalis, rested quietly on pharmacy shelves and in garden beds. Apothecaries once measured it by the ounce, slipping dried leaves into brown paper packets for nervous sleep, for heart flutters, for the worries that come with age. Its name appeared in the United States Pharmacopoeia, side by side with valerian and chamomile. Even Thomas Jefferson grew it in his Monticello garden, calling it a comfort for both the mind and the body. But in 1938, the world changed with the stroke of a pen. The Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act swept through American law, demanding new proof of safety for every remedy on the shelf. The intention was good, to protect families from dangerous patent medicines and unlabeled chemicals. Yet in the process, something gentle slipped away. Botanicals like Melissa officinalis, handed down through centuries, were suddenly pushed to the margins. Pharmacies pulled their jars of lemon balm tincture. The old recipes faded from view, replaced by bright new boxes promising faster, stronger sleep. She never saw a bottle of lemon balm in her childhood drugstore. By the time she needed it most, it had vanished from the places people trusted. A quiet erasure, no scandal, no headlines, just a slow forgetting. How many women like her, waking at 4 a.m., never knew that a simple, time-honored herb had once been the first thing a pharmacist would offer? How many nights stretched on, unbroken, because the remedy was no longer within reach? It is easy to feel a quiet anger at this loss, a sense that something precious was set aside, not for lack of value, but for lack of paperwork. The wisdom of grandmothers, the patience of gardens, all swept aside in the name of progress. Yet the land kept offering, the plant kept growing by the fence, waiting for someone to remember. As her neighbor said, God puts the medicine next to the wound. If this story stirs something in you, if you wonder what other gentle answers might be waiting just outside your door, subscribe and join us next week as the journey continues. Every night, she set the kettle on the stove and reached for the leaves growing just beyond her kitchen window. 4 or 5 fresh sprigs of Melissa officinalis, torn gently by hand, went into her favorite mug. Sometimes she used a teaspoon of dried leaf instead. Both ways matched the old recipes her neighbor described. She poured the water, covered the cup to hold in the lemony oils, and waited 10 minutes, listening to the hush of her quiet house. Then, with hands wrapped around the warmth, she sipped slowly, letting the scent calm her breath. She kept a notebook beside her bed, marking down each night's sleep, 3 hours, then 4, then 5. On the 8th evening, she wrote one word, 7. 7 hours unbroken, the first time in 10 years. She did not understand every detail of the science, but she knew this much. The tea helped her brain find its brakes again. Melissa officinalis lemon balm, with its gentle support for the GABA pathway, did not force sleep. It reminded her nervous system how to rest. She thought of her neighbor's words, God puts the medicine next to the wound, and felt a quiet gratitude. If her story brings you hope, subscribe and join us next week for another chapter in this journey. Even gentle remedies deserve respect. She learned this in the same quiet way she learned to brew her tea, one careful step at a time. Melissa officinalis, for all its history, is not for everyone. Some medicines, like levothyroxine for the thyroid, need space to work. The doctors say to wait at least 30 minutes after taking thyroid pills before sipping any herbal tea, especially one made from lemon balm. The leaves can slow the medicine's journey into the bloodstream, and for those who rely on every microgram, that timing matters. She also heard a word of caution from her neighbor. If you are already taking sleep aids or anything that calms the nerves, benzodiazepines, barbiturates, or even certain antidepressants, adding Melissa Officinalis can deepen sleepiness more than you expect. Too much calm can be its own trouble. And for women who are pregnant or nursing, the old herbals say to wait. There is not enough known to promise safety for a growing child, and sometimes wisdom means patience. God puts the medicine next to the wound, but He also gives us the sense to use it with care. For her, a single cup before bed was enough. She kept a gentle record, listened to her body, and made space for both hope and caution. If you found comfort in her story, subscribe and join us next week as the journey continues. Tonight, she sleeps. It is 8 days after she first met Melissa Officinalis by her fence. The GABA receptor welcomes calm, the way a locked door welcomes a long-lost key. What else have we forgotten? God puts the medicine next to the wound. If this gave you hope, subscribe for next week's episode.